everyone. In this video, I want to talk about how people will hear what they want to hear, regardless of what you say. So knowing that, you should have the courage to speak your truth and not be super concerned about offending other people, upsetting them, or triggering them. Because all that matters here is that you have good intentions when you speak your truth. If your intentions are good and you're not aiming to purposely hurt other people, and somehow people end up getting hurt by what you say, then that's not on you. Because people will interpret what you say in the ways that they want to. They will pretty much hear whatever they want to hear, regardless of what you say. You could probably say the kindest, most mundane thing on the planet, and there's probably somebody out there who would be able to get offended by it due to some obscure reason. So you just can't really control that. You can't control how people interpret what you say. So just focus on having good intentions and speaking your truth, and don't be concerned with offending people. There's a really interesting thing here where you don't want to get defensive when people become offended as long as you have good intentions. Like I said, if you have bad intentions and you're trying to upset other people, then that's being a dick. You're asking for it. But in the case where you have good intentions, you shouldn't become defensive. The reason why is because quite often in these social dynamics, even though we don't quite think of it consciously, there are power dynamics at play. And if you become defensive when somebody gets offended or upset or triggered by what you say, and you become over accommodating for them, you're basically handing all that power to them, which is going to make them believe that they're right in their self-defense. It's going to basically reinforce their behavior of acting like a child, and you don't quite want to do that. Also because it'll make you look bad to everyone around you who witnessed it. So if your intentions are good, you don't need to get defensive, because like I said, you're not in control over how they interpret what you say, provided you're not trying to hurt anyone. So if it ends up happening, it sucks, but just accept it and be like, okay, I didn't know this person was going to interpret what I said in that way. I didn't mean it in that way, but I'm not going to get defensive because I have no control over their thought process and I have no idea how they were even able to get offended by that. So I'm just going to let it sit, let them deal with their emotions, and they'll get over it eventually and move on. And that's all you really need to do. You don't need to explain yourself. You truly don't. Like I said, provided your intentions are good. I have to keep reiterating that because that's a really important part here. But anyway, we live in a world where people are increasingly getting offended over the stupidest things. It's like people just, I hate to say it, but for lack of a better word, people are weak-minded nowadays. Or, no, I can't say that in general, but there's a small portion of very vocal people who are weak-minded. And the fact that they're very vocal is the reason why so many of us are aware of these people. So knowing that they're weak-minded, their opinion doesn't really hold much weight to it. There isn't much value there. They haven't put in the work to make their opinion be something that you should uphold, not uphold, something that you should hold in high regard. That's reserved for people that put in years of work into themselves to the point where they're actually knowledgeable about subjects and they're not easily riled up or offended over mundane things. But the people who get offended by everything, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, they're weak-minded. So just knowing that, try not to concern yourself with what they think of you if you say something that upsets them or offends them. The people you know who care about you and who are more on the strong-minded side, they're probably not going to get offended by anything you say unless you purposely try to offend them. And that's why I was talking about good intentions earlier, because that truly is what matters. So since we live in this world today where for some reason there's a lot more weak-minded people than seemingly ever before, don't be concerned about offending people when you speak your truth. Just be a good person, be kind, be respectful, but you don't need to concern yourself with the small minority of people who are gonna get upset over a ton of different things regardless of your intentions. And just knowing how people interpret what you say based on their past experience or quite often the emotions they're feeling in the moment, that's actually one of the main reasons why there's so much miscommunication when people text each other back and forth, because the person who reads your text is going to be interpreting it based on whatever emotions they're feeling in that moment. So knowing all those things, you can't control how somebody interprets what you say. So, I mean, take it from me, with these videos, they've made me completely aware of this phenomenon. I knew about it before, but this has just kind of thrown it in my face on almost a daily basis, because I can't tell you how many times I've made a video on a topic that I didn't think was controversial, and people just, for some reason, interpret it in a way that I completely didn't think anyone would interpret it, and they completely misunderstand me, and it sucks. But at the same time, like I said, they're a very small minority. The only thing that blows is that they are the ones who are far more likely to comment or say something rude than anyone else because they got triggered, whereas people who enjoy the videos are very likely not going to leave a comment or say anything. They're just going to be kind of a fly on the wall. And for those of you who out there like that, I love you guys. I just wish you would comment more so I could get your opinion on things and even start to recognize your name, because I really love when I notice that somebody's been with me on this journey for a while. You guys are awesome. So yeah, feel free to comment more often. But anyway, I have noticed that occasionally people will get kind of triggered by things I say, or they'll just interpret them in ways that I didn't mean. And I've had to learn to let go of that myself, because I can't control how people interpret what I say. I just can't. There's nothing I can do. I could try all that I want to, and I try to stay away from words like always and never, because I know that, I mean, as soon as you use those words, your logic is almost pretty much easily dismantled, unless you're saying something that's like a complete fact, like all men are human beings. But any other time you try to say all men are blank and it's like an adjective or something, you're probably going to be wrong. Like if I were to say all men are kind, obviously not true. So I try so often to use language that won't, or that will be interpreted as close to what I mean as possible. But even then, people will misinterpret what I say, or they'll take it in a different way, and it's just something that we all will have to deal with in life. So I get that I'm kind of rambling at this point, but my whole goal with this video is just to kind of make you more aware of this phenomenon, that this is going to happen throughout your entire life at random times, and you never know who's going to misinterpret what you say. It could be your boss, it could be a coworker, it could be your significant other in a relationship, it could be your friends, your family members. You never truly know. All you know is that it will happen at some points. So with this video, I'm just trying to tell you that don't let it get to you too much, because you can't control how other people interpret what you say. So if they get offended, if they get upset, if they get triggered and you had good intentions, then just let it go and know that that's going to happen from time to time. Do not take it personally. Don't get defensive. Just shrug it off and roll with it. Just keep going. If you want, you could even make a few jokes to try to lighten the situation and make the other person feel better. But for the most part, you will encounter people who are weak-minded like that from time to time. So just be aware of it and steel yourself for those types of people. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.